Hey guys, it is Horseman Sam, and a couple weeks ago I went to Anime Midwest in Chicago, which is located at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Rosemont. And I spent the entire weekend there, and this video is going to be about me giving a review. I'm going to be talking about the location, lodging, registration, panels, concerts, and all the other good stuff. If you don't believe me, or if you want to know more, because I did not go to everything, or everything that I wanted to, then you can just go on YouTube, type in Anime Midwest 2017, and there are dozens of videos of other people who have vlogged, made reviews, covered panels, and other such events that can give probably better detail than I can. So I would highly recommend going check those people out at the end of this video. But let's get into this review. Anime Midwest is hosted at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Rosemont, just outside of Chicago, and we also use the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center, I think it's called. I can't remember the exact name, but it is a prime spot. This convention is typically considered a medium-sized convention. It's not at the same level as Anime Expo hosted in Los Angeles, but this year we still had about 14 to 15,000 attendees, and that's not counting the one-day passers, or I think the special guests even. The location is prime for this convention because it's about the perfect size to keep expanding and growing as more and more people keep coming. You can either stay at the Hyatt for a relatively good price that they have at a discount when you sign up for the convention online beforehand. If you don't want to stay at the Hyatt, then you can stay right across the street at the Embassy Suites, which by the way have really sketchy elevators this year. Or there are multiple hotels in the surrounding area that you can stay at for around the same price, and all of those are discounted prices because of this convention. You'll notice that the hotel registration prices are lower than what they typically would be because of this convention, which is really nice. Now this past year, you were able to go online and pre-register almost immediately afterwards, and you could get them for a really low price. I think the lowest I ever saw the passes were about $40. And the highest I ever saw the passes were $60, and that was for the whole 3-day weekend if you were to pre-register online beforehand. But even if you get there and you just want to do one day, it's still only $40 a day. Now that's not as good of a deal, but for what it is, there's a lot that you get for $40. You get access to the panels, you get access to the concerts, all the special guest events. You also get access to the gaming room and multiple other areas that you typically wouldn't be able to go unless you were a Connor. The vendors in the artist hall this year was nothing shy of spectacular. The vendors will always have something for everybody, no matter what age or what you're into, whether it's anime, video games, or comic books. There's going to be something for you regardless. Also, all of the merchants and all the vendors are really nice people, and they're always willing to help out their customer with anything that they need. All the artists in the artist hall are really skilled and really good at what they do. Sadly, you can't really film or take photos because they're kind of sensitive about their work being posted online without their permission, so I wasn't able to film a whole lot while in the artist hall just out of respect for their privacy. You can find artists that do artwork for really popular anime shows or really popular video games, and you can also find people who make little chibi keychains sometimes. It just depends on what part of the hall you're in and who you're going to look forward to buy merchandise from. The panels were really good this year, and they always seem to vary every year, and that's not counting the ones that are hosted by the people who put on the convention in the first place. What I mean is that the majority of the panels are fan-run. If you think you have a great idea for a panel, whether it's just a Q&A or a demonstration, or even your own personal cosplay contest, or just a YouTube panel or whatever, then you can submit it as an idea, and if it gets approved, then you're hosting the panel at Anime Midwest now. There are also some really big panels that are hosted by special guests and voice actors, and sometimes even some of the music artists that show up. Now, this year I wasn't able to make any of them just because there was either another panel going on at the same time, or I was just doing something else, or for whatever reason I was just uninterested. Some of the people didn't really know that all that well, and looking back on it, I definitely wish I would have gone. What's really fun are the 18 and up panels, and these are the panels that are strictly for adults, so there's a lot of mature content and they're a blast. They usually contain a lot of really dark and dirty humor, which I love, but a lot of the time it's a lot of the same people who have the same interests as you, so you're never actually feeling outcast. Everybody has a good laugh, we throw some dirty jokes, and say the F word a lot, which is really fun. The concerts and raves are also something to behold. Now, like I said, this year I didn't actually go to a whole lot of the concerts, but I did go to the Friday and the Saturday rave. Now, I can't exactly remember the name of the DJ who hosted the Friday rave, but between that and the Saturday rave this year, I definitely enjoyed the Friday rave more. It had a different type of energy and vibe going on at the Friday rave than it did at the Saturday rave. To me, the Friday rave was the one that really went hard, and it had a lot of really heavy bass drops, and people were just banging their heads all over. While the Saturday rave was almost more laid back, and a lot of people just were going there to kind of have a good time and just jump around a little bit. Typically speaking, the Saturday rave will always be bigger than the Friday rave, but this year I found that to be almost different. When I went to the Friday rave, it seemed almost as if there was a more enthusiastic crowd at the Friday rave than the Saturday rave. Anime Midwest also seems to bring in some of the coolest special guests around. Big names that typically come in are people like Chuck Huber, DC Douglas, the Steam Powered Giraffes, Frenchie and the Punk, Samurai Dan and Jillian, Greg Aris, Steve Wallace, Trevor Mueller, and they also brought in people like Studio Trigger, VS for Villains, and Juliet Simmons and Russell LaSalle, and many more on top of that. If you do happen to go to Anime Midwest, I would definitely check out a lot of these special guests because they're all really nice people and they love giving out their autographs to people and taking fan pictures. Some of these special guests also have panels of their own, which can be Q&As for musical performances, or even there was one about dating advice from the Whiskey Brothers, which I missed but I heard was just freaking hilarious. Something else that's also incredibly unique to Anime Midwest is the Con Suite. It offers unlimited free ramen and soda the whole weekend for everybody. Now I don't know about you, but I don't know of any other anime convention that does that. And this year there were over 14.3 thousand attendees, not including some of the day passers and special guests. So you can kind of imagine what it's like feeding, at the very least, 14,000 people for a whole weekend. The gaming room is also pretty impressive, while it's also not the biggest. The gaming room hasn't changed in the past 2 years that I've been there, but they usually have a pretty good selection between typical Japanese games that you'll find overseas and modern day games that you can just play on the Xbox or the PS4 right here in America. On one side of the gaming room you can find a lot of devices hooked up so you can play games like Smash Brothers, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Street Fighter, or even Mario Kart. While in the middle you have a lot of pachinko machines, and on the other side is a lot of the Dance Dance Revolution, Initial D Racing, and some other mysterious games that I've never actually played. It's not a bad selection, and the gaming room typically isn't crowded and the lines usually aren't that long for games. But the variety hasn't exactly changed, and the variety is also not as wide as I would like to see it go. That could just be me being picky, but we all have our bias. Overall, it's a pretty well-sized gaming room with a really good selection, and it's open the whole weekend. So if you happen to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning and you're not sure which panel to go to, then you can just kill some time in the gaming room. Overall, my experience at Anime Midwest 2017 was wonderful. I met a lot of great people and had a great time talking to a lot of cosplayers, a lot of the special guests, and a lot of the people who ran the artist gallery. I was also the guy rocking out the cardboard drum set all weekend, sometimes in the horse mask, sometimes not, but I met a lot of really cool people and photographers, and a lot of people also took video clips of me and sent them to me. So I wanted to give a big shout out to those people who did that. A lot of people who reached out and contacted me. The Con Suite was great because that also just happened to be my lunch and dinner just about every day that I was there. I met a lot of really cool cosplayers and had a great time at the raves, as well as a lot of the panels that I went to. I'm really sad that I didn't spend more time in the karaoke room, and I'm really upset that I wasn't able to make it to the May Cafe this year. Now if you're interested, prices for Anime Midwest 2018 are already on their website. You can pre-register between now and September 30th for $45. Now prices are a little bit higher than they were this past anime convention, but that's kind of to be expected at this point. And like I said at the beginning of this video, if you're interested in anything else that happened at Anime Midwest 2017, I would definitely recommend going to check out some other people's videos on YouTube. There's this one guy called Convention Reviews who made a really solid review that's way better than this one that you just watched that I would highly recommend. He goes into a bit more detail and explains things a little bit better. On top of that, there are just dozens of videos out there from other people who made vlogs that can show you the convention from many people's different point of views and what it was like for a lot of their different conners. And that just about wraps up this review video of Anime Midwest 2017. If you liked it, you can go ahead, click like, subscribe, you can leave a comment if you were there and if you saw me. You can follow my social media pages, which are in the description, and let me know if you're gonna be at Anime Midwest 2018 because I know I will be there. Until then, see ya bronies.